Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we cover all the best celebrity stories, entertainment buzz, and pop culture moments that have the internet talking. Today, we're diving into a lighthearted but genuinely fascinating moment that recently had fans and viewers absolutely cracking up and swooning all at once. Mark Consuelos, beloved actor and co-host of Live with Kelly and Mark, recently opened up about his high school dating life in the most unexpectedly charming way possible. During a candid on-air conversation, Mark revealed exactly what kind of music he used to play on dates back in his teenage years to, quote, set the mood, and his description of it as sophisticated has since sent fans, media outlets, and social media users into a full-on frenzy of nostalgia and admiration. It's the kind of moment that reminds you why people genuinely love this man, and why his chemistry, both on screen and off, is completely undeniable. For anyone who might need a quick refresher on just who Mark Consuelos is, let's paint the picture properly, because this man's journey to becoming a household name is genuinely worth knowing. Born on March 30th, 1971 in Zaragoza, Spain, to an Italian father and a Mexican mother, Mark Anthony Consuelos grew up with a rich cultural background that clearly shaped his warmth, his charisma, and yes, probably his taste in music too. He spent his formative years in the United States, attending school and eventually pursuing his passion for performance. His big break came in 1995 when he was cast as Mateo Santos on the iconic daytime soap opera All My Children, a role that not only launched his acting career but also changed his personal life forever, because that's exactly where he met a certain Kelly Ripa. The love story between Mark and Kelly is the stuff of Hollywood legend. They met on set, fell deeply in love, and got married in 1996 in a spontaneous Las Vegas ceremony that felt almost too romantic to be real. Together they have 3 children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, and over the decades, they have remained one of the most genuinely beloved couples in the entertainment industry. Their relationship has always been marked by humor, honesty, and easy affection that translates beautifully on camera. So when Mark joined Kelly as the permanent co-host of Live with Kelly and Mark in 2022, filling the seat that had been open since Ryan Seacrest departed, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. The show's ratings reflected that sentiment entirely. Beyond All My Children, Mark has built an impressive acting resume that includes recurring roles on Riverdale, where he played the formidable Hiram Lodge, as well as appearances in American Horror Stories, Pitch Perfect 3, and various other film and television projects. He's also known for being refreshingly candid and self-aware in interviews, never taking himself too seriously, which makes moments like this latest revelation all the more endearing. Now let's get into the heart of the story, because this is where things get genuinely wonderful. During a recent episode of Live with Kelly and Mark, the conversation turned to the topic of music, romance, and the kinds of things people did in their younger years to impress a date. It's the sort of casual, free-flowing discussion that the show does so well, the kind that feels less like a scripted segment and more like you're just hanging out with 2 incredibly entertaining people who happen to be on television. And in the middle of this conversation, Mark Consuelos leaned in with that signature confident grin of his and revealed something that nobody in that studio, or watching at home, was entirely prepared for. Mark shared that back in his high school days, when he was taking a girl out on a date and wanted to create a certain romantic atmosphere, he had a very deliberate strategy when it came to music. And that strategy involved playing what he himself described as sophisticated music. Now, at this point, you might be imagining some obscure jazz record or perhaps a smooth R&B playlist, but the reality of what Mark considered sophisticated in his teenage years is what made the moment so utterly charming and hilarious in equal measure. Mark revealed that his go-to mood-setting music was something genuinely unexpected for a high school boy trying to impress a date, and the way he described it, with total confidence and zero irony, as sophisticated, is what truly made the revelation land so perfectly. The delivery was classic Mark Consuelos, utterly self-assured, completely self-aware, and wrapped in just enough nostalgia to make it feel warm rather than boastful. He wasn't embarrassed by his teenage choices, he was proud of them. And that confidence, that willingness to look back at his younger self with amusement and affection rather than cringe, is precisely what made the moment resonate so deeply with audiences. Kelly's reaction, as one might expect, was priceless. She responded with a kind of delighted disbelief that only a woman who has known someone for decades can produce, the look of someone who is both completely unsurprised and entirely entertained at the same time. Their back and forth on the subject was sharp, funny, and completely natural, demonstrating once again why the two of them work so well together in a live format. The audience in the studio erupted with laughter and applause, and clips of the exchange began circulating across social media almost immediately after the episode aired. What makes this story particularly compelling is the window it opens into Mark's personality as a young man. Here is a teenager who wasn't just going through the motions of dating, he was curating an experience. He was thinking about atmosphere, about the emotional temperature of a moment, about what music could do to the energy in a room. That's not the behavior of someone who stumbled into charm. That's the behavior of someone who was, even at a young age, deeply intentional about connection. And when you consider the man he became, a beloved actor, a devoted husband, a natural television personality, it actually makes complete and total sense. As expected, the internet had an absolute field day with this one. Clips of the moment were shared across TikTok, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube within hours of the episode airing, racking up hundreds of thousands of views and sparking conversations that ranged from pure nostalgia to genuine admiration for Mark's unshakable confidence. Fans of the show flooded the comment sections with their own stories about the music they used to play on dates in their younger years, turning the moment into a kind of collective trip down memory lane that felt genuinely communal and joyful. Entertainment media outlets were equally quick to pick up the story, with many framing it as yet another example of why Mark and Kelly's dynamic on Live has been such a breath of fresh air for daytime television. Critics and commentators noted that moments like this, candid, funny, and completely unscripted in feel, are exactly what audiences have been responding to since Mark took over the co-hosting duties permanently. Entertainment Weekly, People magazine, and several major celebrity news platforms ran pieces on the exchange, all of them emphasizing the genuine chemistry between the couple and the effortless charm that Mark brings to even the most casual conversations. Fan accounts dedicated to both Mark and Kelly shared the clips repeatedly, with many fans commenting that this is exactly the kind of content that keeps them coming back to the show every single morning. Several viewers noted that Mark's complete lack of embarrassment about his teenage self was, in itself, incredibly attractive, a grown man comfortable enough in his own skin to laugh at and celebrate who he used to be. That kind of emotional security is rare, and audiences clearly recognize and appreciate it. On the surface, this might seem like a light-hearted fluff piece, a fun little celebrity moment that gives people something to smile about during their morning scroll. And it absolutely is that. But if you look a little deeper, there's actually something quite meaningful happening here. Mark Consuelos' willingness to share these kinds of personal, slightly self-deprecating, genuinely human stories on live television is a big part of what has made him such a successful co-host. In an era where celebrity culture can often feel manufactured and carefully managed, Mark's authenticity stands out in a significant way. This moment also speaks to the broader appeal of Live with Kelly and Mark as a program. The show has always thrived on the energy between its hosts, and since Mark joined permanently, that energy has taken on a new dimension. There's a history between these two people, a deep, real, lived-in love story that gives every conversation they have on air a sense of genuine stakes and genuine warmth. When Mark talks about his high school dating days, Kelly's reaction isn't performed. It's real. And that realness is what keeps millions of people tuning in every single morning. From a broader entertainment industry perspective, this story also reinforces the idea that audiences are hungry for authenticity. They want to know who their favorite celebrities really are, not just the polished version presented at press junkets and award shows. Stories like this one, small, personal, slightly embarrassing, deeply human, are the ones that build lasting connections between public figures and their fans. Given the massive positive response to this moment, it's entirely likely that the producers of Live with Kelly and Mark will continue to lean into these kinds of personal revelations and nostalgic conversations. The format clearly works. Audiences love it, the clips go viral, and it keeps the show feeling fresh and relevant in a competitive daytime landscape. We can absolutely expect more moments like this one, more glimpses behind the curtain of Mark and Kelly's life and history together, and more opportunities for Mark to demonstrate exactly why his brand of confident, self-aware charm is so utterly irresistible. On the acting front, Mark continues to be busy with various projects, and as his profile continues to rise thanks to his television presence, it's only a matter of time before we see him take on more substantial film or prestige television roles that showcase the full depth of his talents. His